everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I am on leave, enjoying a little bit of time off work. I truly needed the time off work, so I'm just off enjoying myself, enjoying time to myself, and forgetting all about work. But I did want to get up here while I take my drive down to Waikiki. I did want to get on here and talk about some things that I have been seeing in the news this week, so I can get some videos out while I'm currently on leave to kind of catch myself up and get myself set for the rest of the time when I return back to work and finish pushing videos out. So the first thing I want to talk about is that school shooting, right? So that Uvalde, I think I pronounced it right, Uvalde school shooting. So this week they released a video of when the police got to the school. Actually, they released video back to where when the gunman crashed his vehicle, he walks clean through the door of the school with this gun in his hand. No one stopping him. He walked right into one of the classrooms, and you know what happened after that. But me, I am a person that's gonna analyze stuff, and I'm gonna analyze stuff a little bit different than the average person, right? So before we even get to when the police got there and they stood, it took forever to go in and get this dude, I wanted to analyze a few things just leading up to it. So this is an elementary school. So this dude crashed his vehicle, got out of his vehicle, walked across the parking lot, walked in through the doors of the school with a gun in his hand, and I guess no one saw this dude at all. No one saw them, no one stopped them or anything. So that's first time I looked at it. That's the first thing I saw. So kind of go back a little bit. When I was going to elementary school, most of the doors in my school was locked from the outside. The only door you had was the main door, and at the main door of the school, that's usually where like the principal or like that's where like the main office sat at, so they saw who came in and out of the school. Now, most of the doors of the school, you can go out the door, but you just couldn't come back in the door because kind of like locks behind you. So that's the first thing I'm like, why is all these doors in the school unlocked in the first place? That should be something like, it should be like one main door unlocked, and that should be usually the main door that's used when people come to school, you know, to pick up the kids or drop the kids off, this, that, and the third. And then, you know, like, if like buses and all that, them doors should be open when it's time, you know, when the kids go home. Okay, nothing to hit on there, but that's what I saw when I first saw this video. That's what I kind of like analyzed when I first saw this video. And I'm gonna have the video playing probably somewhere up here or over here, whichever one fits. Then, as this dude walks through the school, it was another little kid who saw them and he ran away. And right there, if you're not a religious person, I understand that too. But to me, what I've always told, there was nobody but God telling that kid to run away. That's all that was. That was a guardian angel telling that kid, hey, go that way. Okay? Police was called out, and then the police got there, and you know, they get there. There was a few cops that was there. In my mind, okay, they're coming up with a plan to go and bust in this door, right? You know, me being military, they always tell us, plan out what you want to do. You don't want to go in there and put your life and then the kid's life in jeopardy even more, making the situation even more harder than what it is. So have some kind of plan. They sat there and they waited. I guess they was coming up with a plan then. Then you had more cops come, and then they had the riot gear on, like they have the little things to where it can stop bullets and things like that, and they still sat in the hallway longer and waited. But to me, I always thought that's stuff you learn when you go to these special tactics school. You know, you gotta be quick, you gotta be fast, you gotta make decisions on the fly, especially to be a tactical team like that. You see what I'm saying? But they waited. There was even one guy, he wasn't part of the tactical team, but that dude stopped to use hand sanitizer while these kids' lives are in jeopardy. And And don't get me wrong, I understand when they are like, you know, you can't just run into a situation and make a situation worse than what it is. But you stand out there in the hallway for anywhere from 45 to 70 some minutes waiting to come up with a plan, that's definitely the wrong answer. And that just throws more salt on an already open wound to these parents already, when they get to see what was going on in that hallway while their kids was getting slaughtered by this creature, by this animal, by words I just can't come up with that's nice to be on a public media site. You see what I'm saying? Just ridiculous. You know, like people now look at, when I went to school back in the 80s, yes, I'm an old guy. Back in the 80s, when I went to school, people look at us like, oh, y'all lock yourselves in these schools, this, that, and the third. Yeah, we did. But I felt more safe then than I will ever feel in any kind of school now. Whether it's high school, whether it's elementary school, whether it's college, I feel much safer then than I do now. Because people wasn't as crazy back then too, neither, but that's neither here nor there. So then, like, one of the reporters asked, like, where was the school resource officer at? And then I think the reporter said there wasn't a school resource officer. I guess would have been elementary school, we don't need school resource officers. I strongly disagree with that, but I think there should be some kind of police presence in every school, because you just, in these days and in these times, you just never know what's gonna happen in these schools. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about the whole video, how you feel about, do you think the cops were just totally unorganized, untrained, or whatever? But before I do that, stupid lady, before I do that, what I would say is, like, you know, the same way cops train for these things, right? But I think these cops had in their mind, it would never happen to one of our schools, so I'm not gonna take this training seriously. And I think that's what happened, and I think that's what led to the piss poor response and countless lives being wasted because of the untrained, unorganized police department of that particular city. If you agree with me or you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. Let me know how you feel about it, and we'll talk about it down there.